It sounds like you want a approximately 1,500-word story based on that prompt. Here's a complete story you can use for kindness family drama content. The millionaire disguised himself as a garbage-collecting woman to test his daughter-in-law, and regretted what he saw. Victor Laurent was one of the richest men in the city. Owner of construction companies, hotels, and investments around the world, he was known for his sharp mind and strict discipline. People admired him, but they also feared him. Despite his wealth, Victor had one great weakness: his only son, Daniel. Daniel had always been kind-hearted and soft-spoken, very different from his calculating father. 2 years earlier, Daniel married a woman named Sophia. She came from a modest background, worked as a teacher, and had no interest in luxury. Victor never trusted her. In his mind, it was impossible that a beautiful, intelligent woman would marry his son without caring about the family fortune. "She's pretending," Victor often muttered. "Everyone wants something." Daniel would always defend his wife. "Father, Sophia is the most honest person I've ever met." Victor simply smiled coldly. He believed time would expose the truth. And soon, he decided to test it himself. The plan. One morning Victor called his loyal assistant, Martin. "I want to run a little experiment," he said. Martin looked confused. Victor explained his idea. He would disguise himself as an old garbage-collecting woman who worked near Daniel and Sophia's neighborhood. For several days he would observe how Sophia treated someone poor and invisible. "If she's truly kind," Victor said, "she'll treat the poor with respect. And if she's not," Victor's eyes hardened, "then my son deserves to know the truth." Martin hesitated, but he helped arrange everything. Makeup artists from a movie studio were secretly hired. They gave Victor wrinkles, gray hair, worn clothes, and even a slight limp. When he looked in the mirror, Victor barely recognized himself. Instead of a billionaire, he saw a tired old woman pushing a garbage cart. Perfect. The first encounter. Early the next morning, Victor positioned himself near Daniel's house. Sophia usually left for work around 8 a.m. Victor pretended to sort trash near the sidewalk as she stepped out of the house. She noticed him immediately. Victor expected her to ignore him like most people did. Instead, she paused. "Good morning," she said warmly. Victor didn't respond. He kept digging through trash bags as if he hadn't heard her. Sophia hesitated for a moment, then walked closer. "Excuse me, ma'am," she said gently. "It's very cold today. Would you like some tea?" Victor froze. This wasn't the reaction he expected. He mumbled in a rough voice, "No, I'm fine." Sophia smiled kindly. "If you change your mind, I'll bring some out." Then she left for work. Victor watched her go, slightly surprised. But one polite greeting didn't prove anything. He needed more time. Day 2. The next day he returned. Again, Sophia noticed him. This time she walked straight inside the house and returned with a small thermos and a sandwich. "I made extra breakfast," she said. "Please take it." Victor looked at the food. It smelled fresh. He tried to stay in character. "I can't pay you." Sophia laughed softly. "You don't need to." Victor slowly accepted it. Something inside him felt uncomfortable. Why would she do this? Day 3. Victor continued his test for several days. And every day, Sophia surprised him. Sometimes she brought food, sometimes warm gloves. One day she even gave him an old coat that belonged to Daniel. "My husband doesn't wear this anymore," she said. "But it's still warm." Victor felt a strange guilt as he accepted it. This woman he suspected of greed was giving things away to someone she thought was poor. Still, Victor wasn't convinced. Kindness in public was easy. He wanted to see what she did when no one was watching. The incident. A week later Victor decided to push the test further. He scattered garbage across the sidewalk in front of the house, pretending he had accidentally dropped everything. Trash bags ripped open. Food scraps spilled everywhere. It looked awful. He waited. Soon Sophia came outside. Victor expected annoyance, maybe disgust. Instead she rushed over. "Oh no, are you okay?" she asked. Victor groaned and pretended to struggle standing up. "My back," he muttered. Sophia immediately knelt down and helped him. "Don't worry about the trash," she said. "Let's get you seated first." She guided him to a bench near the garden. Then, without hesitation, she began cleaning the mess herself. Victor watched in silence. A wealthy man's daughter-in-law, picking up garbage with bare hands to help a stranger. Something inside him tightened. The truth revealed. Later that evening Victor returned home to his mansion. But he couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. Sophia's kindness seemed genuine. Still, doubt lingered. The next morning he decided the test would end. He dressed again as the garbage woman and waited outside. When Sophia appeared, she smiled as usual. "Good morning," Victor sighed. Then he spoke in his normal voice. "Sophia." She froze. Slowly, Victor removed the wig and makeup scarf. Her eyes widened in shock. "Mr. Laurent." Victor looked down, ashamed. "Yes, it's me." Sophia was speechless. You were the garbage collector." Victor nodded slowly. "I wanted to test you." The words sounded ugly even to his own ears. Sophia's expression changed from shock to quiet hurt. "You didn't trust me," she said softly. Victor lowered his head. "No, I didn't." The regret. For the first time in years, Victor Laurent felt deeply embarrassed. "I thought you married my son for money," he admitted. "I believed you were pretending to be kind." Sophia looked at him for a long moment. Then she sighed. "You could have just asked." Victor felt a sting of shame. "You're right," he said quietly. There was a long silence. Finally Sophia spoke again. "But I'm glad you did the test." Victor looked surprised. "Why?" She smiled gently. "Because now you know the truth." Victor nodded slowly. "Yes, I do." The final lesson. That evening Victor invited Daniel and Sophia to dinner. When they arrived, Victor stood up from the table. "I owe you both an apology," he said. Daniel looked confused. Victor told the whole story. The disguise, the test, everything. Daniel stared at him in disbelief. "You did what?" Sophia squeezed his hand gently. "It's okay," she whispered. Victor looked at his daughter-in-law. "I spent my life judging people by their intentions," he said. "But I forgot something important." Sophia tilted her head. "What's that?" Victor smiled sadly. "Sometimes the poorest person on the street can have the richest heart." He turned to Daniel. "My son, you chose well." Daniel grinned. "I already knew that." They all laughed. And for the first time since the wedding, Victor Laurent truly accepted Sophia as part of the family. But he never forgot the lesson he learned while pushing a garbage cart. Kindness reveals the truth that wealth never can. If you want, I can also. Turn this into a YouTube storytelling script with hooks and dramatic pacing. Expand it to 2,000 plus words. Or create multiple similar viral kindness stories for your channel. 1500 WAD.